All right. Welcome to Practical Energy Insights. This is a live stream. My name is Jonathan Paulette. And if you work in the oil and gas industry or you want to work in the oil and gas industry, you're in the right place. Tonight, we're going to cover three things. It's going to be Iran and energy risk, and living and working internationally, as well as oil and gas careers that are hiring right now. So, I want questions. Here's the format. If you are interested in an oil and gas career or some help in your career, you can type in your role, the country where you currently are or work, the years of experience you have, and your goal. For example, maybe you're a floor hand, you're in Canada 2 years, and you want onshore or offshore. And if you do that, I can give you clear next steps. All right. So make sure you follow the account because I will do these lives regularly. And I pick followers first for live career audits. So if you follow, type followed in the chat so I can prioritize you. All right, quick intro. I work internationally in the oil and gas sector. I'm currently in the Middle East. I have 25 years of experience, with 15 years of that being overseas in over 11 countries. I help people get hired faster with a focused plan, and I help teams of drilling engineers and rig contractors improve operational performance remotely before problems show up. So let's get into it. First segment is going to be about Iran and energy. So just to keep it practical, this is the energy lens. The market moves on two things: perceived risk and real disruption. There's perceived risk as headlines and posturing, threats, ships moving, sanctions talk, insurance premium rising. Real disruption is barrels of oil unable to be delivered, shipping routes changing, terminals slowing, and actual outages. So if you want to track this like a pro, watch these three things. One is policy. If you start to see sanctions enforcement or waivers, that's a big key that there's going to be some kind of disruption. Next, you have military posture. You have deployments or warnings and red lines. Those are some things that we've seen very recently. And number three would be the physical market: exports, shipping, inventory draws, and refinery runs. Currently, a US armada, basically, for lack of a better word, is on the way to the Persian Gulf in response to the recent Iranian protests that resulted in the IRGC killing thousands of its own citizens. Since I'm in the Middle East, I watch closely to see what's happening. And my personal thinking is that Trump said he would intervene, so he will. I made a video about this on my channel, so go check that out, Practical Energy Insights. But I think he said he'll intervene, and so he will. He kind of went back on those words publicly, but a carrier group and troops and aircraft and a whole lot of hardware is still en route to the Middle East, coming to the Persian Gulf. So I think something is going to happen, and Trump's verbal de-escalation is just to make the Iranians less vigilant. I also think what results will be targeted strikes, if anything, not a mass invasion or a bombing campaign. The US cannot afford to go to war with Iran and destabilize the region. And it cannot afford to martyr the Ayatollah. So there will need to be a strategy in place that prevents all out chaos from breaking out. I don't know what that strategy is going to be, but definitely paying attention. And with all the troops that are moving into the area and all the hardware that's coming in, it's something to watch for. I am never in favor of violence, but I am on the side of the Iranian people, the regular people, and I hope whatever happens, whatever change happens, they get what they want and what's in their best interests. So drop your question in the chat. What do you think the most likely US move is? More sanctions, more naval presence, or maybe something else like a full kinetic intervention? Like before, we're going to talk about careers. So I typically pick followers, so make sure you follow. And the format is going to be type into the chat your role, your country, years experience, and your goal. such as Floorhand, Canada, 2 years, and one offshore. And if you do that, I can maybe give you some next steps to achieving that career goal. As always, make sure you follow. All right, segment 2. We're on careers that travel internationally. So let's talk careers. That's work worldwide. If your goal is international work, like me, I work in the oil and gas sector, pick a role where mistakes cost money or risk. Basically, you want a decision-making supervisory role or something that has real impact on operations. A lot of international work is high risk, high money, but you're going to want high mobility, and that's going to be directional driller, MWD or LWD. It's maybe somebody in the fluids business where you work with drilling mud, well site supervision, which is something I'm very familiar with, where you can work as a company man on a drilling rig. Those are definitely a good career path. To achieve that, you can go 2 routes, really. You can go to school, go to become a drilling engineer or a chemical engineer or a mechanical engineer, get a bachelor's in science, a full degree, and you can typically move into a well site supervision job through a established oil company like Exxon or Shell, that kind of thing. The way I went through it was working as a roustabout and worked my way up through driller, rig manager, and got that kind of experience. International, I started working as a driller. So there is a way that you can go and become a well site supervisor. Completions and interventions, a lot of work overseas is, we not only drill the wells in Canada, we'll just drill, cement, case, and that's it. But international, a lot of times you're running that completion string, you're going to be doing testing. There's a whole lot more that you're going to learn by doing the international work. So, for example, the works that we're doing now, we're drilling long horizontal sections. We're running the completions, but we're also doing what we call PST, which is perforation, stimulation, and testing. So we're actually running on coiled tubing, perforating guns. We're flowing back the wells. We're isolating zones with torque plugs, and it's a very interesting kind of completions program. So we deliver the wells at the end ready to put into production. It's just a matter of tying in the pipeline. Some other areas for work I see being important over the next 5-10 years is process safety, major hazard avoidance, instrumentation, controls, and automation. AI is obviously a big topic these days. So if you're interested in instrumentation or control systems or AI, any form of automation, that is definitely going to be a very good career path. Oil companies are looking and drilling contractors are looking for more technology to move people out of the physical work environment so that people don't get hurt and hopefully improve the efficiency of an operation. But in doing that, you're going to need more mechanics, more electricians, more hydraulic techs, that sort of thing. So there's definitely still a strong career path there, I believe. For other career paths, you got subsea controls and commissioning if you're looking more towards offshore, especially deep water like drill ships. And I guess a good rule to follow is try to pick a lane and stick with it. I've kind of moved back and forth in my career from between the drilling contractor and the oil companies. But now that I'm in a certain lane and I'm at a certain age, I'm going to stick in the path that I'm in. I will not be going back to the drilling contractor side. Simply be not a step back, but I think by having gone the direction that I've gone, I'm going to limit myself going back to the other career. So stick in the lane that you choose and then just work those tickets, get your experience, always be willing to do the hard work, show up for work, and be that reliable person. You'll get promoted and move up the ranks quickly. So in the chat, tell me which lane are you aiming for? Are you interested in drilling, completions, safety, maybe control systems, subsea, or operations? From Algeria, studying AI. Very nice. I like it. You need to speak English. How can I speak it? Watch lots of movies. It's a great way to learn English. but that'll only get you so far. You're definitely going to need some good training if you're looking to get promoted in the oil and gas industry. English is kind of a requirement, and usually the senior supervisory positions as you move up, they're going to require English. So if you don't speak English, you're going to limit yourself. All right, thanks for the questions. Really appreciate it. All right. The next segment I wanted to talk about was living and working internationally. So I've lived and worked international for um, 15 years. I've been working internationally. 10 years I've been living internationally. 25 years total in the oil and gas industry. So the work isn't all about money. I mean, that is definitely a benefit of working overseas. You get typically more steady work because it's bigger projects and they can't just stop based on the whims of local policy in Canada, the United States. So if you're working internationally, uh, you're going to have a much more steady income, which is great. You also get to travel. But remember, you're not going to really travel from possibly the lower positions if you're from North America. If you're maybe from the Middle East and you're working your way up, that's fine. Or if you're from Asia, you could probably come over as a floor hand or a lease hand, roustabout, and work your way up. It is okay to do that, but just keep in mind that you're gonna. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be a little bit of struggle. Sometimes having a specific passport will help you get a visa. So international work and living is a lot of paperwork. You're rotating. You're doing 28 days away from home. You're back 28 days to work. There's a lot of different cultures that you're going to have to get accustomed to. It can be shocking sometimes to go to a different culture you're not used to. My first time overseas was to Nigeria, and it was a very eye-opening experience, to say the least. And you have to be willing and able to be away from your family. It can be difficult. I see a French comment. Sorry, I do not speak French. um, the upside is you're going to level up fast. You may not move up quickly in your career overseas, but you're definitely going to see technology that you wouldn't see in potentially in a North American environment for sure. In Canada, for example, it's very specialized. You have fishing operations, you have wireline, you have a lot of cementing where the drilling contractor is not involved in that. So if you're in the drilling contractor lane, it's very segmented. Whereas internationally, you might be the one selecting the fishing tools and doing inventory of fishing tools and displacing cement and doing a bunch of things that you wouldn't necessarily do in Canada. So you level up fast in terms of your skills. You see how big projects are really run. I mean, you're talking like decade-long, multi-billion-dollar projects. And you also build a global network of people that you get to know. And they could be from all over the world. You get invited to weddings in Morocco or India. And you get to, for example, the rig that I recently was on, there was 40 nationalities. So it's a very good melting pot of culture. And you get to see the news from all over the world and different people's perspective on what that's like. So it's very nice. The downsides are isolation and stress and logistics because you're far from home. A lot of times you're very remote. You might be out on a rig somewhere. You can't just leave. If you leave, you're basically saying that you want to quit. It can be stressful, and trying to get there can sometimes take 1 to 2 days back and forth. So the commute times are long. When you've done 30 hours worth of traveling, and then you arrive to work and you have no sleep and you're expected to work a 12-hour shift, it can be very difficult. So it's something that you get used to, but it's definitely not as simple. I'm good. Thank you very much. Appreciate you being here. All right. So the rules to survive and thrive in an oil and gas career: just stay calm and be professional, even when the room's not. Learn the local culture and try not to win arguments. A rule that I live by is, you are a guest in somebody else's country and you have to be respectful. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. You have to be respectful of the local culture, because if you are not, then you can get yourself into a lot of trouble. I have seen people actually get kicked out of countries because they basically insulted the local customs and the local people. So you want to be very careful, be very mindful of what you're doing. Um, Also, um, yes, try not to win arguments. I typically stay away from politics or conversations about religion because some people have very strong views, and you want to respect customs, and you might unintentionally insult somebody. When I was in Libya at the time, the flag was a green, solid green flag. But in the oil and gas industry, a green flag is there's no sour gas. So I'm Canadian. Thank you very much. Um, and so I didn't realize that the Libyan flag was green. And I had some people washing below me with a pressure washer, and they were spraying me with water. So I took this green H2S sour gas flag and I put it down and I stood on it to block the water. I was very young. And I had a bunch of very angry Libyans because I was standing on their national flag and thought I was going to get killed. So, culture. Make sure you learn the culture of the country that you're going to be in. And there's no point in winning arguments when you're over there. You are a guest. Just be respectful. And be the person who communicates clearly and tries to uh, not only give good instructions, but take feedback and try to just be a very good communicator. Make sure that all your passports are up to date, all your documents, passports, your medicals, certifications. Some countries have mandatory vaccinations, so just make sure that you are um, keeping all your documentations really tight. And don't be a headache to your employer. If you don't show up for a flight, you'll get one chance where you don't show up for a flight, and the next time that you're not going to have a job. So make sure you always arrive to the airport early, catch your flight, and if you're late by a day or two because of the flights, that's one thing. But if you're late because you missed your flight and you have to catch the next one, and it's your fault, then the person that's still in the rig, he has to stay, and he's not going to be very happy with you if he has to stay and work longer because now he's away from his family for longer too. So, for anybody that's in the oil and gas industry, I saw a comment about the Permian Basin there. What is the hardest part for you? Getting hired or being away or adapting to new cultures? I'd love to see it in the comments. All right. If this is useful, make sure you follow. A like and a follow is always appreciated. I'll try to pick followers first for questions, and I do plan to do more lives on careers and global energy in general. So, I guess the last thing that I'll talk about is I do one-on-one career calls. So if you're interested in that, you'll have to message me privately. You can write careers in the chat. And if you are somebody that's doing more high-level operations, maybe a supervisor, superintendent, or manager, I do provide remote consulting for drilling performance and execution. So I help reduce invisible lost time, tighten up on pre-job planning, barrier discipline, contractor alignment, and real-time decision support. So if you're interested in that, type ops in the chat and I will be there to support you. All right. I try to keep my client load limited because I work internationally. So if you do want a slot, make sure you message me and I'll try to see what my calendar will allow. Before I go, make sure to follow the account so you can catch the next live. I'll do a next live probably within the next week. And last call for any questions. If you're interested in anything about careers, drop your role, your country, years of work, and what your goal is in the chat, and I will answer a few more right now. All right. Well, that's it for me today. Again, I'm Jonathan Paulette, Practical Energy Insights. I really appreciate your time. I know it's time out of your day, so I do appreciate that you spent this 20 minutes with me. And I wish you all the best in your career and stay safe. God bless. Thank you very much.